back to the channel. I'm super excited about this particular video because it's something that is very simple but can help your game immensely, and that is sliding. A lot of people don't really learn to slide the proper way because the shoes we all start with, whether it's just in recreational play or your basic first shoe, doesn't really provide you the tools you need to be able to slide if you're going to bowl different tournaments across the country and at a higher level. Not only can sliding immensely help your game improve, it can also keep you from injury. We're going to cover a couple different things in this video as to teach you how to have the proper slide, what you should feel in order to know you're sliding correctly, and then also how to decide which proper slide soles and heels you need to make sure that wherever you're bowling, you're getting the same slide the same way every time you throw a shot. Obviously, it does take some time to learn what's right for you. Everyone's a little bit different in what they feel. The idea of sliding, though, is the same across the board. Now, some people are going to slide more and some people are going to slide less, but just the fact that you're sliding is going to help your game just go to the next level very quickly. Okay, so this first drill I'm going to show you is just to show you the basics of sliding. And you don't even have to be at a bowling center to do this. You can do it on carpet with socks, but obviously it's easier to see in a bowling center so you can get an idea of where you need to be, because that is important so you can have the room to actually physically slide. We always use this line to know where you're going to start. And it's very basic. So you're just gonna bend your knees, make sure you get all of the weight into your hips, and you're gonna put a little bit more weight onto your right foot. And now you do this because when you go into your last step before your slide, this is all where you're gonna create all the power to slide. So now I'm gonna show you an example of what you don't wanna do. You don't want to have your heel get onto the lane before your toe. So when you're coming into the approach, a lot of people do this, is they go like this. So that's what you don't want to do. What we're trying to accomplish is get your toe to go into the ground and then your heel. So it's like landing a plane. You want to land it very smoothly. You don't want it to be drastic. It's just going to be a smooth entry. So like I said, most of your weight is on this right foot. You're going to act like you have the ball in your hand. You're going to go back and then you're going to push as much as you can with this foot. So there shouldn't be a lot of weight on your left foot when you do this. You should almost feel like you're balancing on your right foot, so you have all the pressure on that toe ready to push forward. And then, like I said, you're gonna make sure your weight's in your hips, and you don't wanna drive forward with your chin. You wanna make sure your hips are pushing you forward. Like I said, you want to make sure you do a bunch of these without the ball so that way you can feel comfortable. And then once you transition into using the ball, you just go slow. You don't need full force. You just want to make sure that you get into that power step and you're pushing off. Now it's going to feel really weird at first, especially once we cover the next part, so where you can feel what the actual slide should feel like. But just make sure you go slow until you feel like you can build up that momentum. And just remember, the most important part is making sure you're pushing off with that right or left foot, using your power step to actually push your hips forward and not leaning over with your chin.
So now we're going to deep dive into what you're supposed to feel while you're sliding. While you're sliding, going into the line, you don't want your heel to come off the ground. You are sliding into the line with the toe first, and then you're stopping with the heel. But when you get stopped at the line, your heel doesn't want to come up off the ground. Your energy doesn't want to be on your toes. It wants to be in the middle of your foot or on the brakes of your heel. Next thing is you want to make sure you are done sliding before you release the ball. This is a common problem that I see in a lot of my students that I coach, or some of the people that I watch during competition. They're still sliding as they're releasing the ball. That's going to cause a lot of inconsistencies with the direction of the bowling ball, how much you hit it, and how much power you can transfer from your body onto the lane with the bowling ball. So you want to make sure that as you're releasing, you are completely stopped sliding and that you have about a second to come through the shot. This deep dives into timing, and that could be in another video, but we wanted to make sure that we covered that basis so you guys understood that you have to be completely done sliding in order for you to release the ball, in order to have more power, have better direction, and have an increase in rev rate.
Now obviously, to accomplish this, you will need shoes that are able to interchange. Now, you don't have to get the most expensive ones. There are cheaper ones that do the same thing, and you can buy the slide pads to do so. So there's a bunch of different combinations. These are the Dexter brand of slides, but they do have a 2. I personally never have to use a 2, but some people do. And now it's because it is going to depend a little bit on your weight, your height. How you bowl is going to play a big role in what you will like, particularly in order to slide. My base is an 8 and a burgundy heel. Your base might be a 7 in the orange heel, or a 3. It also depends on where you bowl. Some setters still around the country still have wood approaches, and some have synthetic. Now, wood are definitely going to be a little bit more slippery, and then these synthetics, especially the newer ones, are going to be a little bit more tacky. Knowing which approaches you're going to bowl on is also very important in this, and you always want to be prepared. Now, I travel with all of this. I also travel with extras of the ones that I use a lot, because the newer ones slide a little bit more than the older ones. When my old 8 is worn out, it seems to be a little bit more tacky, and it's probably just because of stepping and stuff, whatever, but I do like it, and sometimes it comes in handy versus a new one that slides a little bit more for me. Now, this isn't the same per number. These two can make a huge difference in how I slide, and so it's important to have both of these. And then again, like I said, if you step in water or step in something, you always have a backup of the ones you use a lot. Now, I don't keep backups of the ones that I don't use as much, which is like 2 through 6. Now, 6 is going to be super, super tacky, and I believe it's because it's the holes in it. So even though these are a little bit below it, 6 does seem to be the tackiest. Now, I also have 3 burgundy heels that I bring because depending on how much I've used them, some of them slide a little bit more. You want to make sure you can slide, but your heel still stops you. But you still want to feel some resistance on your sole. So when you're going into the slide, you want to feel like it's not like slipping and then comes to a hole. You want to feel it kind of is a gradual. So being able to have a combination that feels a gradual and then a stop is what you want. You don't want it to feel like slip, breaks. It's got to feel like everything is coming together as one. Now, obviously, like I said, per person, it's a little bit different, so you're going to have to test it out, which is why I always say that you can always become a way better bowler just by having a new pair of shoes that's able to do interchangeables, because all of these variables make a huge difference when you're going lane to lane. Sometimes they can even be variables between lane to lane. Like, I've had to switch my soles in the middle of the block, so it's always important to be prepared wherever you go and bowl. The biggest problem when people are trying to learn how to slide is they're scared to slide because they're so used to having that natural just always sliding. So when they get into this, what we call a real slide, where you're actually stopping before the ball comes through, you cannot be scared because you have to be able to use your legs. So the more you can get up there and just know you're going to slide, once you figure this out, your body will just allow yourself to slide. So you have to go up there knowing you're going to slide in your mind and just drive with your legs. So that way you don't trick your brain into thinking you're not going to slide. So if you go up there scared and timid, you won't have the power that you need in order to slide. So this is definitely going to be a trial by error by you, and you're definitely going to have to do a lot of those drills without the ball, so that way you can be comfortable to do this. I highly recommend doing at least 20 to 30 of the drills without the ball before you can actually figure out what slide you need. And then once you get the ball, you might actually be able to go a little bit tackier once you realize how much you're using your legs going into the line.
So as we're talking about proper timing and things of that nature, we want to make sure that we are stopping at the correct time. Now, I know you guys probably watch the PBA Tour. A lot of those guys have proper timing. They're stopping before they're letting the ball go. There is a couple of exceptions to where people are planting, a couple are sliding as they let go of the bowling ball, but we are looking at what is going to prevent you from having less injuries down the road. I'm not saying that those guys are going to get injured later down the road, but it's a higher probability that they may if they're stopping themselves by planting or sliding too much. I know I see a couple of the average type of bowlers, bowling league, you know, once or twice a week, maybe use one of these to put on their shoe, and we don't want to do that. These can cause a lot of bad habits, and it's not going to help you stop at a proper time. There are plenty of interchangeable options, buying interchangeable shoes to put different types of sole and heel combinations in order for you to have perfect timing and slide at the appropriate times.
Now that we have all the information and you might be trying this back out at your home center, we're going to show you a little bit about the body position, so that way if you start to still have troubles, you can understand why you might be having more problems while you're trying to accomplish this. You always want to make sure that you're in like a lunge position. So that's the easiest way to know if you're doing it correctly, is just do a lunge. You're going into the slide, you want to make sure, like I said earlier, that your hips are leading. Because if you try to slide, once you've even felt like you have found the right slide pads, but all your weight is on the front and you're not bending your knee, you're still not going to slide because you're not giving your body the proper timing and everything. You won't have the proper weight distribution in order to slide properly. So you want to make sure this knee is digging into the ground as you're pushing forward and you lead with your hips. And as I'm here, my chin is just almost in line with my knee. Sometimes my chin can go a little bit forward, but that's once the ball is done. But as I'm sliding, I'm in this position here. As we said, sliding is super essential not only for improving your game, but protecting yourself from injury going forward. So all of these little techniques and everything that we taught you today, it's not only to bring your game to the next level, it's so that you can have longevity in however long that you choose to bowl.
So that wraps up today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions on today's video, make sure you drop a comment in the comment section. And we also want to hear your feedback. What other things do you guys want us to talk about so we can help you improve your game? Hopefully this video helps you to get to the next level that you want to. And as always, we appreciate you guys for watching and supporting. And we'll see you next time.